Wine. In ancient Rome, to consume it was a sign of status and power. But what they drank was, by and large, nothing like the wine we know today. The Romans fermented the grape juice in clay casks, sealed and buried in the ground. It was bitter, and they seasoned it with honey and other herbs to make it palatable. But they also had a better process that produced what they called sweet wines. This is Fabiano. He's a chef by trade and a Renaissance man by choice. Living in the wine country of Northern California, Fabiano is an artist, musician, and vintner dedicated to producing wine the way they did it in ancient Rome. The good way, of course. It's called Mora Estates, and since Fabiano's an old high school friend, I guess his 65 vet is as good a place as any to have a talk about what he's been up to.
The more I started drinking these wines, the more I wanted to learn about the wine making side. And I found it fascinating when it goes back to the history. You're drinking romance in a bottle. You're sharing this wonderful wine that you harvested like in September or October, depending.
So it's experiential.
Oh yeah.
And so was this ride. A vintage car, like a good bottle of wine, ages well. And I can't imagine a better way to watch the vineyards roll by than from the rumbling cockpit of a 65 vet. I was here to walk the vineyards with Fabiano and learn about his winemaking process. Later on, we'd get together for lunch at his house with a bunch of old friends from school. We pulled up to one of the small vineyards he sources his grapes from, near the Russian River. It produces a few tons of grapes a year and provides the perfect canvas for him to get creative.
When I come to this area, it's amazing because I feel like a little kid at a toy store because this is my creation. These are my babies. These are my children. I'm trying to guide them to become what they want to be. I'm not the kind of winemaker that wants to manipulate something to capture what the audience wants.
It's once the grapes are harvested where Fabiano reaches back into the past, calling upon ancient Roman techniques.
Generally, the wine is made where you go to the vineyards, you harvest the grapes, you crush it and stem it and let it go through fermentation. We go through that process as well, but before we get to that point, we actually harvest the grapes on trays gently, and then we bring it over to our chambers where we dry the grapes. And this is the appassimento process that they say in Italian. Appassimento means to semi-dry the grapes.
This process increases the sugar content. It's a delicate line to walk to keep them from getting too sweet. But according to my sommelier friends, he hits that sweet spot perfectly.
The grapes are either set on bamboo trays, which the Romans did. Another method is to get these trays that are kind of like the bread baskets, basically, that are stackable.
Fabiano literally likes to get his hands dirty.
This is the spice. This is the depth. The terroir. This is it right here.
He was constantly busy while we walked the vineyards, and it was enlightening to see the hands behind producing a bottle of wine at work. And all this tucking of the vines isn't for show.
You don't want to cut a lot of this canopy because we don't know what's going to happen in September and October. We may get dry, some intense heat going on, and it can fry all the grapes. So this is kind of a protection.
He talked to me about having the patience to allow the grapes to become what they will. How does he know when they're ready?
You taste it and you look at the seed, and if it's kind of toasty, kind of brown, that's already starting to develop the flavors that we're looking for. Beautiful, right?
After soaking up the serenity of the vineyards, we hopped back in the vet and hit the road back to his place. Fabiano's family ran one of the more well-known classic Italian restaurants in San Francisco for decades. And so he grew up steeped in a world where if you're going to host a meal, you do it right. He'd invited a bunch of guys over from high school who'd all grown up running around on the streets of San Francisco. I played Little League with some of these guys. We've known each other forever. But as it seems to go with most friendships of youth, we don't see each other much anymore. A football game here and there, maybe the odd reunion, and we were all grateful to Fabiano for extending the invitation to come and enjoy his hospitality, his wine, and of course, his cooking. A mind-blowing paella, sautéed shrimp, and fresh steamed mussels from water to table. Perfection.
All kinds of good things are coming into our life, and so we got to take our blessings.
Spending time with these guys in this place reminded me that the road less traveled often leads right back home.
I mean, it's an extension of my personality, really. I love music, I love food, I love wine, I love great things in life, and I manifested it to become part of me, and this is my lifestyle, and I just really enjoy it because I am doing exactly what I want to be doing today.